Hey Z-Man, how's it going? We had so much fun doing the show last weekend, recording the show for tonight, that we only had an hour and there was a bunch of stuff that I never got a chance to ask you. So when I saw that you started your new channel, Zarenizer Responds, yes, for those of you that don't know, Sean has a new channel. He's calling it Zarenizer Responds, and as the name would imply, it's specifically for him to interact with the community more and respond to the community. And I noticed that you're not even editing the videos. You're just, doing them like the old-fashioned blogs, which is cool. And I understand it because a lot of times you're putting up your response videos and full episodes in the same day, and you don't have all the time in the world. So yeah, I really like what you're doing, and I think it's awesome. And yeah, like I said, there were some things that I didn't get a chance to get into for the radio show, so I figured why not upload this on the day that the radio show airs. I don't know if you or how many people are going to actually be able to tune in on Friday, but of course the archives are available 24/7. But yeah, just basically consider this the continuation of the conversation, with the exception of this first question. And I'm asking this first question here because I did originally ask it on Twitter, and I don't know if you saw it. So I want to ask you this, but if this is something that you're not comfortable with putting in a video, if you feel more comfortable doing it as a Facebook message thing or a Twitter message thing or a private message thing or even a Skype thing, but just you and me, I understand completely. But your titles, man, your titles in Vegas are so much better than mine. And my guess is because you're either using Chroma King or just the Pro Type Titler. That's a tongue twister. Pro Type Titler. There we go. In general in Vegas, and I've watched numerous tutorials on it, and the tutorials that I've seen, they just don't break it down the way they should. You don't get any sort of headway into trying to figure out how to use the dang thing, and it's the most confusing thing in Vegas. Like everything else I've done, like the cool Christmas effect that you'll see when I start my Christmas reviews on Monday, everything else I've done I've been able to do without a problem in Vegas. But just making the text look cool and the names of the episodes, I'm really struggling with that. So I want to know, would you be willing to turn on Camtasia or whatever program you use to do video capturing stuff? Because I know you do the video game reviews, and I saw the old website walkthrough back in the day, so I know you have something that you use. Would you be willing to turn that on and do a quick tutorial for me to teach me how to master titling? Or is there a title master tutorial that you saw that you know will be able to show me what I need? If so, man, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, that's my first question. Like I said, if you don't want to actually put that in the video, I completely understand. But now on to the rest, which, as I said, is just a continuation of our conversation from your second appearance on the show, so I know that you'll have no problem answering these. Question number one, I'm going to turn the tables on you. This is something you asked me when I reached the 1,000 sub marks, and I always wanted to know what your answer would be. So, in your opinion, firstly, who are the most underrated Batman villains, and which of them would you like to see put into film form? Get a full-on story behind them on the screen. Or even just get a DC Universe animated movie, since those become so awesome. But yeah, get better treatment than what we've seen from them in the past. And I'm going to also ask the second part of your question to me, which is, who do you think the new Batman should be? If Christopher Nolan is not going to come back and do a fourth one, which all signs point to he's not. If Christian Bale doesn't want to work with another director, who would you pick as the next Batman on the big screen? My next question is just one that I think will be a lot of fun for you, and this of course is not counting the Batman Beyond era or story arc, because it's its own thing separately on its own. Because if you throw Terry McGinnis in there, then things become convoluted. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Robin number 2, Jason Todd, hadn't died. Who do you think would have been the more worthy successor to Bruce had Bruce decided to retire? Dick Grayson, Robin number 1, or Jason Todd, Robin number 2? A lot of people say that they wouldn't give it to Dick Grayson because Dick Grayson became Nightwing, a superhero on his own. But I want to hear your take on that, and then I will probably, in fact, there's no probably to it, I will cover that during my upcoming Batman series. Yes, Sean and all of the Rasmanites, at long last, that series is actually happening. A couple of episodes have already been filmed and in the can for it. Basically, the reason that I stopped putting any sort of track to it, and the reason it's been delayed for so long, is simply because I didn't know how I was going to do it the way I wanted to do it. And what I mean by that is I wanted to have my comics collection way more involved, but I realized that with my physical limitation, that's just not realistically going to happen. So instead, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to use overlay for everything, and the way I'm going to break it down is in 3 main subject areas, and then each of those subject areas are going to get as many episodes in themselves as they need. So I'm going to have the comic/graphic novels, the history of the character and the misconceptions therein, and finally film and television. So yeah, I'm basically going to break down the must-read graphic novels first, then I'm going to do the history of the character, and then I'm going to do film and television. So now that you're doing this channel, I hope that you'll have plenty to say in regards to my Batman series. If you want to do any of that with me, feel free, but at the very least, fire up and do some Zara and Isaac Response videos when that series starts. I have a target date A and a target date B in case target date A doesn't work, because target date A would be fairly soon. And since Christmas is coming up, I don't know whether or not I'll be able to do it or not. But yeah, you can look forward to that. Just thought I would give you that little piece of news to have some fun with. And my final question is, or excuse me, not my final question, what am I talking about? I have 2 more. Next one would be taking the whole comic book feel and playing around with Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, just continuing that theme. How do you feel about the DC Universe reboot? I personally haven't picked up any of the comics yet, so I can't really comment on them, but do you take the same attitude with the DC Universe reboot that you were talking about with B.W. Roses and the changes with the Sonic comic? Do you think this is just more evolution for characters, an excuse for DC to start fresh, or do you think this was a horrible idea and it's going to ruin everything? Myself personally, I think it'll be fine as long as they don't mess with kayfabe, particularly with the iconic characters like Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern. As long as they don't do that, I think it'll be perfectly fine. But yeah, what's your take on it? And now, my final question is, if Nickelodeon follows through and does a new Turtle series, like they teased a couple of months ago, after the treatment of Turtles Forever, I don't think either one of us actually wants to see that happen. But if it does, which would you prefer? CGI or good old-fashioned 2D animation? Both have merit, but which would you prefer? I think I would have to lean more toward 2D, because both of the 2D series have been so awesome, and I'm a little bit old school when it comes to that. So yeah, that's all the questions I had for now, but I'm sure I'll have some more of these videos for you now that you're doing this. I think it's a great idea, and just wanted to have some fun with it. So, see you later, Big Z.